So, after my last Geometry Dash performance video, I encountered a new issue. Start positions were broken, and I found out a couple days later, so today, it was an issue with turning on in Geode settings, in Geode, under the CBF mod, in those settings, I turned on a little setting called Physics Bypass. And this didn't do good for me. It didn't do good things in 2.2. It fucked up the math. It fucked up the math! And so, yeah, like, now... after that, what happened is... my start positions, whenever I switch, in no-clip, it would... in no-clip specifically, it would be down and right multiple blocks, like ahead, as if I spawned ahead of time. But the music would be normal, but since I'm spawning ahead, like, it'd be off sync, like, it'd be so fucking weird. And so I guess the coordinate hooking was off with no clip on, and with that physics bypass in CBF settings in Geode in the game. So I had to turn that off. That did a thing, and it fixed it, but I'm still having micro stutter, random micro stutter. And so, what we're gonna do, we have a little software here called CapFrameX, and we also got, oh, where is it? Latency mod. So I created a new folder called Gaming Diagnostics. We're gonna install it. I already installed and set up CapFrameX. It might ask you to download Microsoft.NET Framework. Go for it, do it. And make sure you get both of these things. You want to be able to cross-reference. Windows cannot verify the digital signature for this file. A recent hardware or software change might have installed a file that's signed incorrectly or damaged, or that might be malicious software from an unknown source. Does this mean anything in regards to the function of latency mod, though? Oh my god, dude. I'll be right back. I have to restart my PC. Not like I was recording right anyway. So now we can boot this up. Boom. And we can have CapFrame up. CapFrameX up at the same time. And now just boot up Geometry Dash, hit F11, and now just hit the green start button, boot up Geometry Dash, then hit F11 to start the capture in CapFrame. We're gonna hit
Capture
F11.
started.
Capture started. And we're just gonna play a random level, bro. Like, we'll play Zodiac. Or no, I'll play Heliopolis. Why not? Oh. Looks like my start positions are broken again. And I know that this isn't gonna help anything. So we're gonna turn that off. We're gonna keep those on. Or maybe we'll turn that off. We'll turn that off.
Capture finished.
We'll get a new capture going.
Capture started.
Okay. There we go, now it... yeah, and it's like, why is it so fucking... ass? Like, why does it run so ass? Oh my god, I never beat Back on Track before. Let's do it. Ah. What I do notice is when I die, that's the only time the frame time or frame rate spikes on the actual graph, like the line. But the baseline frame time, even if not spiking, will bounce in between 1.0 millisecond and 1.6 millisecond. But it's not that simple. It seems more related to the sounds than this, even though I fixed my bitrate to 24. Latency mon also shows 1550 microseconds or nanoseconds or whatever it is on nvlddmkm.sys, which is a similar problem to what I had before. But I need the newest NVIDIA drivers though for other software. Like, this is the fucking thing. So I'm gonna check to see if MSI mode is on. It is. Okay, so I asked Google to quickly simplify what does bro do in just a few sentences. By default, Windows makes multiple hardware devices, like your GPU and sound card, share a single interrupt line to talk to the CPU. When they compete for this line, it causes communication delays and microstutter. Enabling MSI mode gives your GPU a dedicated line to send signals directly to your CPU, preventing traffic jams and smoothing out your frame times. And in my case, frame delivery. How can I make sure these changes in MSI mode utility version 3.1 always stick on every boot up? Does that happen just by hitting apply? Which drivers specifically undo this change? And what other things should I be proactive about in MSI mode utility? What things here should have MSI mode checked and priority? So apparently, no, you want it to be negative. Okay, so you want this to be negative 39, but you have to restart your computer. And do I want high definition audio controller or high definition audio bus ticked to MSI mode? Now I just restart my computer and we'll see how it goes. But here's the thing though, every time you do a CPU or GPU driver update, it's gonna undo this change. So you need to have a script ready. So it looks like the easiest way to prevent the MSI mode of your GPU from being undone and high priority would be to go to task scheduler and then click create basic task wherever that is. Here we go. Name, fix GPU MSI mode. For the trigger is when a specific event is logged. The log. System. Oh my god, it's beeping. Why is it beeping? So system. Source. If the mouse would work, user 32. Event ID 1074. For the action, choose start a program. And the program or script should be choose a program and target the MSI util v3. Okay, MSI utility 3. MSI, here we go. MSI utility v3. Why is there a video in there? Weird. Yeah, add arguments. Check the box at the end that says... Okay, there's no box. There's no box. Open the properties dialog for this task when I click finish before clicking finish. And new thing will pop up after hitting finish. Run with highest privileges. So this will ensure MSI mode always stays on. Are you sure? Is there anything I'm missing? Yes, I missed some stuff. We're gonna get to it. Okay, where is this MSI util? It's gonna go right there. Store it right in your C drive or wherever. Do not put it on your OneDrive. Do not do it. And so we go back here. We're going to create basic task. Fix MSI mode GPU. When a specific event is logged, log system. Start a program. Browse this PC. MSI util. There we go. Open the properties dialog for this task when I click finish. Run with highest privileges. How does doing this make it so that MSI mode is ticked and so that the priority is high within the MSI utility, though? Oh, so you have to add an argument. Apply. Yeah, we're gonna add that argument, apply. We're gonna okay it. And that should stay there, right? So adding the argument apply will always keep this MSI mode and the high priority enabled. And this will keep everything how it's supposed to be. So now, when we boot up Geometry Dash, we're gonna do the same thing again. We're gonna measure.
Capture started.
Capture started. Music is off. Maybe not. No, the music probably is slightly off. Or it's just the mashup. It's not perfect. Well, that's the first jump of Acheron twice in a row.
Capture finished.
Yeah, okay. I want to see something. Like, that can't be normal. Twice in a row again. Let's go. What the fuck? You know, let's not close the game. We want to see latency mod. Yeah, it's still got bad NVL ddmk.sys. And if we look at the processes, let's try and actually interpret this and what's going on. Yeah, it's this fucking... I had this same issue before. Alright, we're gonna try something else. So we're gonna right click the Windows menu button. We're gonna go terminal admin or command prompt admin. Don't repeat the spelling as I do the first few times. Here you just want disable dynamic tick. You want 1D after disable for dynamic. What this does is it pretty much turns off a power saving thing that you do not need. We're gonna do BC edit /set disabled dynamic tick yes. We're gonna, the term BC edit is not recognized as an, bro. So what does this mean? Alright, cmd/c BC edit /set disabled dynamic tick yes. It's not a recognized internal or external command. Do I include the cmd at the start or just the /c? C Windows System 32 bcedit.exe /set disabled dynamic tick yes. Do I need to install PowerShell? None of this is working to disable it. HQ local machine system current control set control power. Look on the right side for a file called disabled dynamic tick. It's not there. New D-word 30, okay, new D-word 32-bit disable dynamic tick. Double click it, set its value to 1. And we'll see what happens.
Capture started.
That was crazy, what the fuck?
Capture finished.
Doing all that really didn't change much, so we're moving on to the next step. Okay, what I'm gonna do now is download a thing called... Alright, so I'm gonna read this real quick. This process lasso configuration stabilizes your game's frame pacing by separating the processing workloads of Geometry Dash and your NVIDIA graphics driver across the two physical chiplets of your Ryzen 9 7900X. By restricting the single-threaded game engine entirely to your first chiplet, cores 0 to 11, and locking the background NVIDIA driver telemetry to your second chiplet, cores 12 to 23, you prevent Windows from erratically bouncing these two interconnected tasks across the CPU's internal hardware bridge mid-run. Your GPU and CPU still communicate at full speed over your motherboard's physical PCIe lanes, but removing this internal software scheduling conflict stops the microsecond driver delays, NVL DDMKM.SYS, permanently flattening your baseline frame times and eliminating the location-based microstutters while you are alive in a level. So we're going to download this and we're going to see if it actually fixes my game. Because nothing I did last time did. So there we go. Oh. I do not know how this thing works. Okay. Alright, so once you have Process Lasso installed and you accidentally close out of it. Alright, so once Process Lasso is running, you're gonna go into Geometry Dash. Once you're in Geometry Dash, you're gonna minimize it because we won't be needing it right now. Then you're gonna find Geometry Dash on the processes list, like a needle in a haystack. Once you find it, you're going to right click on it, you're going to go to CPU affinity, you're going to go to always. Okay, this is interesting. Only CPU 0 through 5 are able to be checked. The rest are grayed out. This is interesting. Look at the very top menu bar, Process Lasso, and click on Main. Make sure it's set to bit sum highest performance. Main. Active power profile. Which one do I want? I don't even know. So we basically are doing CPU affinity here. Yeah, no, that didn't do anything. That didn't work. So let's try the other ones. High performance. It's not letting me go in and do anything. What I'm trying to say is that when I go to CPU affinity, this section in Process Lasso, there should be 23 tickable boxes for 23 cores. Total, 23 cores. But there's only 6 appearing that I can actually interact with. I explain why this is here in a few minutes. So if I go to power plan, change advanced power settings, high performance. This is really weird. My power plan is on high performance and I set that as the same in Process Lasso, but all of the CPU cores are still grayed out. Actually, I did launch it as administrator. Had to reveal all 24 threads, hover over general, or CPU affinity defaults. Where is this general or CPU affinity defaults? Options, general, show logical. I don't see the settings show logical CPU cores, but under experimental I see always show bit sum highest performance. All I see is always show bit sum highest performance. So it's possibly something in my BIOS making these cores not show up in Process Lasso. I'm gonna have to restart my computer and take a look at my BIOS. Alright, so I pretty much figured out what was going on, I think. We're gonna find out. Gonna launch Geometry Dash. So I'm gonna close Opera first because that's gonna take a lot of resource. So we're gonna open Geometry Dash, back out, go to Process Lasso. We're gonna go to Geometry Dash, CPU Affinity, always. Yep, all the other cores are there now. I know why this was happening. I know exactly why this was happening. So some of my BIOS optimizations I made previously a little while ago in another video I made, I think. Some of these weren't such a good idea actually, because you can't always trust AI and you don't always know what you're doing. Most of the time I know what I'm doing. 99.99998% of the time I know what I'm doing. But I guess some of these weren't great changes, and so with my exact specs and my exact situation with Geometry Dash, I went back into BIOS and these are the changes I made. Precision Boost Overdrive was set from manual to just enabled. Precision Boost Overdrive Scaler was set from manual to auto. CPU Boost Clock Override was set from enabled positive to disabled. Turbo Game Mode was set from enabled to disabled. This was probably one of the biggest things. PSS support was set from disabled to enabled. Resize bar support was set from disabled to enabled. I previously said in another video that this was a big cause of stutter in Geometry Dash. Apparently not. Seagate my one-touch hard drive was, I set it from auto to hard disk. Integrated graphics I set to disabled from auto. SMT control, this is the biggest change I made. This is what's allowing me to do this. I set it from disabled to auto. It's simultaneous multi-threading. It's necessary probably for AMD processors. Fast boot was set from enabled to disabled, mainly because I don't want any possibility of my MSI mode in MSI utility being interrupted or dislodged with the high priority of it. And SMT control, simultaneous multi-threading control, was set from disabled to auto. And that's it. So I want CPU 0 to 11 checked. Grant the NVIDIA driver a dedicated core. Can I save the Geometry Dash Affinity with the save named Affinity button? Alright, now I have to look for NV display container. Do I need to be running Process Lasso as administrator, or is it fine without? Meant to say without. Okay, I need to be running it permanently. I need to be running it as administrator. So you want to find every instance of NVIDIA or anything related to NVIDIA, and you want to do cores 12. To 23. We're gonna save this as NVIDIA Optimal Affinity. We're gonna OK it. It looks like it did it for the other ones here. Now we gotta do it for this. NVIDIA Optimal Affinity. NVIDIA Optimal Affinity. It's actually making it really easy for me. And that should be all of that. Is there anything else I should set affinity of? Like, what about the WDF kernel? Is there anything else I should go for, or am I good? So now that we've done all this, we're gonna... Should I create a config file? Nope, we don't need to do that. It's all good. Does Process Lasso need to be running? So to make sure this always stays true, you're gonna go to Option, you're gonna go to General, you're gonna go to configure startup. Does this mean it will always start on boot? It shows in my hidden icons that the core engine is not running. And once you restart it, after putting those settings so that it boots with the system, it should say engine is running. How do I minimize it or close it without getting rid of it in hidden icons? So if I close it, it'll stay running? Yeah. And that'll boot with Windows every time. And it'll do the job you want it to. And your game will run flawlessly. Hopefully. That's the idea. Let's see if it worked. Or how well it worked. So at this point, across all the videos I've made for optimizing, apart from like no, I included that in other videos. Yeah, all the other videos I've made on optimizing, this is the true limit you can reach for this hardware. You can't do anything else. There's nothing else you can do. You can maybe drop the polling rate of some of your peripherals, but I don't really think that's gonna do anything, because if that was the case, other people would be complaining about the same thing. So truly, there is nothing else you can do. We're gonna boot up latency mod and capframe X one more time. Timer resolution enabled. We're gonna go in Geometry Dash, and let's do this one more time. Deadlocked? Not. It does look pretty smooth. I don't see any lag spikes so far. Like, you just give it a few minutes to run do its thing, map everything out, let the game engine get used to everything. I don't know. Seems to be running pretty smooth.
Capture finished.
Do I have a solid 1.3 or so? I mean, seems pretty stable to me. Nothing's at 90%. That was an interesting way to do the wave. But yeah, I think it's fixed. Honestly, I think it's fixed. By adjusting a few BIOS settings and doing a couple more optimizations, I think we're there, man. I think we finally did it. I think I'm ready to beat Zodiac. Let's do one attempt on Zodiac. You know what, fuck it, I'm gonna leave up the, hold on, I'm gonna check latency mod. That's still not good. I mean, my latency from that same NVLDDMKM kernel is still quite high at 1449. But here's the thing, I'm playing Geometry Dash, I'm recording, I'm doing these benchmarks. My native resolution is 1440p and refresh rate at 360 FPS. I'm running the game at 720 FPS. Is this normal, actually? My benchmark with cap frame shows that the processor cores are running a lot more evenly. Yeah, for my setup, this is actually pretty normal, 1449 for everything I'm doing right now. And the cores themselves are actually way more balanced. This might be the final video, actually, and I'll put everything in a playlist. Holy shit, we did it. It took a long time. It took a long time. Yeah, that's pretty responsive. Oh, that core 3 it does spike a little bit sometimes. But it goes back down is the thing that's good. I beat Zodiac while benchmarking, imagine. Imagine. I got the shock. Could you imagine how I beat Zodiac while benchmarking? Bruh. Whoops. So maybe I should like close the benchmarking and shit. Geometry Dash is undoubtedly running better, but Latency Mon still says the conclusion is, my system appears to be having difficulty handling real-time audio and other tasks. You may experience dropouts, clicks, or pops due to buffer underruns. One or more DPC routines that belong to a driver running in your system appear to be executing for too long. One problem may be related to power management. Disable CPU throttling settings in control panel and BIOS setup. Check for BIOS updates. But my current measured interrupt to process latency is 118. My highest measured interrupt to process latency is 209. My highest reported ISR routine execution time is 81. And my reported total hard page fault count is 2615. Yeah, I can ignore that message and my system is running elite. Any score under 500 microseconds on the highest measured latency, that would be this, is a gold standard for gaming. An ISR time under 100 microseconds is nearly perfect. So I have the lowest latency anyone's probably ever seen right now, I would imagine. That's pretty crazy. 81 microseconds. It's nuts. It's awesome. That's so awesome. Very good news. Oh yeah, those numbers are much cleaner. I can exit out of this. And my drivers aren't loaded properly, so this isn't the best that Geometry Dash will run. Because I needed to turn off driver registering in order to run Latency Mon. So let's restart one more time and we'll see how this runs. I just want to say on 360 Hz, you definitely want to either use 360 or 720 FPS. I'd recommend 720 if you can manage. And definitely use frame extrapolation. Keep the thread priority high in MegaHack. That's what you want to do. Yeah, if you're on 240 Hz, stick to multiples of 240. If you're on 360, stick to multiples of that. You don't want weird integers, or else it's going to have weird frame consistency and delivery. Ugh. Let's go. We hit 100 subs. So 100 sub special is coming next. Be sure to check out my Instagram. Be sure to check out my TikTok where I post deep shit and some funny shit. You can join my Discord server if you'd like. It's not much, but it's something. Like and sub. My name means to conquer. You can help me do this by making me the most subscribed Vince on YouTube. Also, I have a music channel now. I am starting to release Juice WRLD inspired music. I'm openly inspired by Juice WRLD, and I've been working on a lot of cool shit there. So check that out if you're interested. Everybody have a good night or day. Cheers.